John Schneider and Mike Macdonald are off to a hell of a start to the 2025 NFL Draft. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Let's go over the 2 second-round picks that Seattle has made. At 35, they go with South Carolina safety Nick Emmanwori, one of the top players in all of college football, one of the best players in the SEC at the safety position, and there's a lot of opportunities to get very creative. And we talked about this within the last couple months, that he was expected to be picked in the first round. Most people thought he wasn't even going to be available when Seattle picked at 18, but that he was a guy that was going to be very tempting to Mike Macdonald because he looked exactly like a Mike Macdonald type of player. They get within 8 of the offensive line, and they still got a very good player that they could have picked in the first round at 35. Great pick. But that's not all, folks. Then at 50, after trading up to 35, Seattle was able to keep their 50th overall pick and move on from the 52nd overall pick to make the trade up. And they were able to get one of the best tight ends into this draft, Elijah Arroyo from Miami. And I'm a big fan of this guy. Let's tell you about these two individuals. Let's start with Nick Emmanwori. Emmanwori out of South Carolina, 21 years old, a junior, and he's got good size. 6'3", 220, 88 tackles, 4 interceptions, 6 pass breakups last season. A very impressive scouting report. Modern-day strong safety with truly elite physical traits. Mostly showed growth as a tackler and has the frame to be elite. Plays with more finesse than he should at times. And this is somebody that he said his idol was Derwin James. And he's not as good as Derwin James is, but the athletic traits are there. I think he's more similar to a Jeremy Chinn, which is a very good comp. Jeremy Chinn's had a pretty solid career. Mostly a strong safety, but obviously he's played some free safety. He's played some nickel too. A modern-day strong safety with elite physical traits. I think it's a great pick for Seattle here, and there's some opportunities to get creative with this. We'll explain more in just a bit. Grade the pick, A, B, C, D, or F. I think it's an A pick. You got a player that you could have justified picking at 18 all the way at 35. I think Mike Macdonald and John Schneider found a hell of a football player right here. What do you guys think? Grade it for me, A, B, C, D, or F on our pinned comment today. Weigh in and let us know. Folks, this is why you subscribe to Seattle Seahawks Today. We are closing in on 66,000 subs on the channel, less than 400 away from reaching that next milestone. We are live for the NFL Draft Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, breaking down every single pick as they happen in real time. And even after the draft, we're going to continue to bring you our daily news and rumors. We also are bringing you live shows each and every Monday and Wednesday. We'll have watch parties throughout the season. This is your one-stop shop for all things Seattle Seahawks. If you're a diehard member of the 12s, you got to be subscribed. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Lock us in. Stay up to date with everything happening in your favorite team. Subscribe now for free. Let's get at least 20 subs off today's video. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV to subscribe now for free. All right. Let's talk more on these selections of Nick Emmanwori, the pick from South Carolina, the safety here. And here's where things get interesting for me with Nick Emmanwori, is what you could potentially do with him and what this opens up. I know a lot of people right away are going to say, Tyler, you got a Pro Bowl caliber safety in Julian Love. You have a young cat in Kobe Bryant that just had a breakout season this year. Why do you need to invest in the safety spot? Well, why? Because F them. That's why. I think what Mike Macdonald has in mind, one thing we've talked about on this show ever since Mike Macdonald took the job was how effective Mike Macdonald was in Baltimore with using the 3 high safety looks with Geno Stone, Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams, and just annihilating opposing offenses. And Nick Emmanwori can be kind of that Geno Stone type of role where I can go out there and have him just go create turnovers, just go make plays, and be that guy, bring that element to this safety room, and also provide some depth as well if there's an injury. The Athletic's Dane Brugler said this, has the size, speed, and mindset to play a variety of roles, although he projects best near the line of scrimmage where he can blitz, be an eraser against the run, and man up with tight ends and backs in coverage. He has the floor of an adequate starter and special teamer, but his ceiling is exciting. So here's what we're looking at with the safety room for Seattle. Love and Bryant are your two starters. But I think with Nick here, you might as well view him as an additional starter because they will play three safeties based on why they brought him in and what they have in mind. And to me, that's a great thing for the Seattle Seahawks here. And I think you're going to be excited. The production's there. The athleticism is there. And now you got the right coach to take him to that next level as well. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Recently, I went to an NBA game with the fam, and we got last-minute tickets on Game Time. And we saved a lot. And it was great because even though we got them last minute, the ticket prices go down the closer it gets to when that game starts. It's the easiest way to get tickets on short notice. They have their low prices enabled feature, which lets you invest more in buying food, drinks, merchandise, and more easily get a larger group to come with you. That way you can save on the ticket prices. You can spend that money on other things. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Seahawks Today, where their last-minute deals can save you up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more. Game Time Picks makes last-minute ticket buying easier than ever by quickly highlighting the best deals in the stadium. They have their zone deals where you can save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. They have their all-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. They have their seat views where you can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price is guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. All right, let's talk about the next pick at 50, Elijah Arroyo. Elijah, come forth. The tight end from Miami. He is, I think, one of the most intriguing prospects in this entire draft, and this can change everything for Seattle. Look, let's be real for a second here. Some of you have said Seattle doesn't need a tight end because they don't know how to use tight ends. And history would say, you know what? There's some truth to that. But this is the dawn of a new era. The forgotten men and women of Seattle that want to see the tight end position respected again and treated right will be forgotten no longer with the addition of Elijah Arroyo into the fold. Arroyo, what we're going to see Clint Kubiak do is embrace this tight end spot like we haven't seen before. And it's going to be very reliant on that in this pro-style offense. That's where he comes in. Had a very good year with Miami last year. Out of Frisco, Texas, 22 years old, 6'5", 254, accounted for 35 total catches, 590 yards, 7 touchdowns, and has an impressive scouting report. According to our own Tom Downey, really impressive athlete who can stretch the seam and win downfield. Decent blocker, but strength isn't there yet. 1-year wonder, potentially with injury concerns that must be vetted. But think about this. You look at the stats. 35 catches, only 1 drop in his entire career. It was this year, a 2.1% career rate. I would like to see him force more missed tackles. Only had about 3 of those, but his yak yardage was really good, 9.1. He's got the ability to win downfield. A third of his catches, this is a crazy stat, my friends, went for 20-plus yards or more. That's insane. Great size and frame, very fluid with his size. Dane Blugler of The Athletic wrote this: Arroyo needs further development as a route runner and blocker to reach his ceiling, but he can bring an immediate vertical element to an offense with his speed, fluidity, and focused ball skills. He is easy to project as an NFL starter and a weapon for which defenses must account. The only testing he did was the bench, and he was very strong, 22 to be exact there. And now you look at this tight end room. There's going to be some changes. We found out this week that Brady Russell is going to be your fullback now. So there was a need there. And Noah Fant, we don't know how much longer he's going to be here. A.J. Barner, I think, is a solid number 2 tight end, but he'll never be a true number 1. And that's okay. Now, all of a sudden, I can build for the future with Arroyo as the man to take the mantle and Barner to back him up. I think Arroyo immediately slides into the number 2 tight end spot. And now you could potentially move on from Noah Fant. Whether you trade him or release him, you don't have to have Noah Fant now. And I think you're in really good shape. Do you like the pick of Elijah Arroyo? If you do, type Y for yes. If not, type in for no. I love the pick. I think John and company's done a really good job to this point with these picks. Couple final thoughts before we wrap things up. So now, Seattle has found an interior offensive lineman that's a starter. You found a safety, a guy that will eventually be a starter or might as well be your number 3 safety. On some days could be starting. And then Elijah, I think, has potential to be really good in this league and totally changes up this offense. You are making moves. You are making serious moves, and you're not messing around. What's going to happen in 2025, what we're seeing with this draft, my final note on this, folks, I'd put it this way. Opposing teams, they're about to F around and find out. They're about to F around and find out. The Seahawks are coming. And there's a big roar on the way. Here's one last look at the Seahawks picks so far to begin this draft. Out of the gates and ready to go, as your fearless leader once said. Off to a great start, and there's still plenty more picks to come. We'll cover it all here on Seahawks Today. Who do you want these Seahawks to draft next? Weigh in, let us know. Give me a name that comes to mind in the comments section who you'd like to see end up in Seattle. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.